Hi everyone. So in this tutorial, we'll finish off the login method and we'll look at how to use redirects and sessions. So let's do the redirect first. Um, to do the redirect, the first thing we are going to want to do is we're going to want to actually create some kind of page for the user to get to once they've actually logged in. So let's just create a view for that. I'm going to create a view function. This one, I'm just going to call this home. And again, I need to make sure that the function name is different. Now I'm just going to log in homepage. I'm not going to have any results at the moment. And just for the moment, I'm actually literally just going to go return home. So at the moment, I'm not going to be bothered about creating a page. I just want to show you how we can actually move the user on. So with web servers, you can always redirect the user to another location. And this is known as a redirect. So for the login page, currently we've got it so that if the user logs in, we've just said login successful. What we're going to do is we are actually going to redirect them to the home page. And to do that, I just need to type in return, redirect is the function, and then I need to give them the path that I want to redirect them to. So I'm going to redirect them to the path called home. So that's a redirect there. So let's actually see that in action. So I've got my login page. I'm going to log in as the admin. And you can see it says admin password. Submit, and you can see it's redirected them to home. We can do the same on our register page as well. So we're going to, when the user registers, let's redirect them to the login page. So just here where we had message users has been added, we're actually going to return redirect, and we're going to redirect them to the login page, which as we know is the root of our domain. So that will actually return them to the login page. Now, I want you to actually watch this because we are probably going to experience an error here. And that error is that when you redirect for redirect the user, the request object still exists. And what that means is that when we redirect them, the form data in that request still exists. So we need to be very careful that the user has just registered, we've collected their form data, and part of that was an email and password. It's now going to go and submit that to the login page, which is something we probably don't want to have happen. We want them to log in normally, or I suppose it's up to you. Perhaps you do want it just to go straight through. But just be aware that sometimes you don't want to send the form data onwards. To fix that in Flask, all you need to do is put a dot before the forward slash. So if you put a dot, it means don't carry the form data because otherwise you get some weird things happening. So now we've got a redirect on our register page and we've got a redirect on our home page. Let's view that redirect. So I'm going to go to the register page. And with the register, I'm going to type in, I'm just going to register a person. Okay, and you can see it's redirected to the login page. But had I not put that dot there, possibly it would have logged in as well because it would have carried the email and password form data across. So with redirects, you can always redirect data, which is actually super useful sometimes, but other times can cause you errors because you don't expect it. Okay, now I'll be able to log in as that person. I've just got a password of ASD, and you can see it's now redirecting to home. So now we've got redirects occurring. which is good. Okay. The second thing we want to do is we want to save the user's credentials and information about the user as well. And we can do that using the session object. So Flask carries a session object, and the session object essentially, well, it's actually a Python dictionary again, and it correlates to the cookies in a user's web browser. So because of that, we actually need to ensure that we set up some sort of encryption because the cookies in your web browser are encrypted so that hackers can't get hold of them and be able to automatically log into your private websites or your private accounts. So to set up the encryption, we actually need to edit the app.config. And inside the config, we will have a key. I just need to remember this. I have got it somewhere. All right, here we go. Secret key is the value. So it's app.config, secret key. And we actually need to just set it to a bunch of, well, it can be anything you want. Type in secret line of text, and it'll actually become hashed and then used to generate a secret key between the web server and the client, which is the web browser. And therefore, cookies will be encrypted. Okay, so I need to make sure I have got that correct. Yeah, app.config secret key. Right. So now we can use sessions. And like I said, a session is like a Python dictionary, but it has special significance in Flask, as in once you save to the session, it actually gets saved to the web browser as well. So it gets saved as a cookie in the web browser. And every user who uses your web server obviously has their own session. So when the user logs in, we want to save their credentials inside the session. And to do that, all we need to do is we know that we've got the user details here, which is a Python dictionary. We did that last lesson. We got Python dictionary representing the user. That consists of all the data inside the user table pertaining to that user. And you can see that with the backdoor that we did earlier. If I go to my backdoor again, you'll see that I've got all these Python dictionaries. So we just need to find the keys that we want to store stuff as. And in terms of our user table, one of the keys we've got is the permission level. So each user has a certain permission level. The user would also have maybe a profile picture, maybe. The user might also have, well, you got the first name and the last name, etc., etc. So you can store all that stuff inside the session if you wish. One of the things you probably do want to store is the user ID, because that way you'll be able to use the user ID to do other database calls in other areas, and therefore modify the screen based on what the user has available. So let's do that. Let's store stuff inside the session. Here is where the login has been successful. So all we need to do to save inside the session is essentially create keys inside the session Python dictionary. So we'll create a key called permission. We'll create a key called user ID. We'll create a key called name. And we'll make those keys equal to values. So that's how Python dictionaries work. This one here will be the permission value inside the user details dictionary. I'm actually just going to keep copying that line. But I'm essentially transferring the values from one dictionary into another dictionary, being the session uh, the session dictionary. So here, user ID. And here, I'm actually going to get the user ID's first name, but I'm actually going to add that to user details last name. So it's all going to be one value. Right. And that will do it for now. We can always add other things later on. We've got their permission level, we've got their name, we've got their user ID. I can't think of anything else that we might want. Well, if you had profile pictures, obviously you could have profile pictures there as well. Right. But we're going to save that. So we've saved that inside the session. Now, along with that, the session variables are available anywhere on your site. So you can actually put them inside any page. You can put them inside any view function. So even here where we've got home, and I've just got return home, if we wanted to, we can actually use the session, and the session is automatically available to us. So we could actually go return session name, and that should get their first name and last name appearing on the screen. So let's actually view that now. I'm going to get back to the login. I'm going to log in as admin, admin, and admin, and I'm going to go submit. And you can see that in the admin, there's actually something called first name and last name. In fact, if we wanted to, we could even output the whole session to the page as well, which I could do. If I wanted to just output the whole session, I'm just going to go JSONify session. Let's see what's inside the session Python dictionary. There you go. So that data there is currently saved inside our session, and we can access that data on any page that we wish. So it might be worth us, we've got about, no, we might stop there because we've only got a couple of minutes left anyway. No, you know what, I will quickly build the about page or home page, and hopefully I should be able to do that in a couple of minutes. All right, so let's do that really quick. I'm going to return render template, and I'm going to render template home.html. And then I'm going to go to my templates, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file, and I'm just going to call it home.html. And I'm actually just going to copy all the code from the login page into home.html. But I'm going to get rid of the form. I'm going to call this home. And then I'm just going to say here, I'm going to create a paragraph tag, welcome. And what I'm going to do is just to show you that the session variable is available on any page, I'm actually just going to type in here, session name. And so that session variable will be available on this page without me having to individually pass it. What I can also do is show you exactly what's inside the session as well. I'll just do that, and I should see everything that's inside my session. I don't need that last form tag. Right, so I've just done a really quick HTML page. I've got 10 seconds left. Let's make sure that's working. And you can see that it has worked. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I'll see you in the next tutorial.